if you're a web designer and you're thinking, what's the process from onboarding a customer to actually delivering them a website and what that looks like for a six-figure agency owner, then I'm going to show you. Now, if you're new here and you don't know me, hi, welcome. My name is Tristan Parker and I am a solo agency owner who's doing over six figures each year. I've gone from struggling as a freelancer, barely being able to give websites away, to now successfully and comfortably being able to sell websites for thousands of pounds without really having to work all that much harder. Now, today we're going to be talking about the process, and on screen you can see that I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds, thousands of hours learning, practicing how to best fulfill and deliver a web design project. Having been doing this for over 3 years within my own web design business, plus getting first-hand experience from the processes that exist within large multi-million pound companies and agencies. So I'm going to show you how we, within my agency Parker Digital, deliver a project from end to end. Now, this video is a part of a series. We've gone through the acquisition, we've done outreach, we've done sales, we've gone through the onboarding. Now we are focusing on the fulfillment. And the fulfillment, in my opinion, is broken down into 3 parts. We've got the design, you've got the build, and then the launch of the website. And inside each of these steps are micro steps that we follow. So first things first, let's start off with the design. Remember, we've got all the information we need because we've onboarded the client. Now we actually have to physically design the custom web design project for our client based on their goals and requirements. Now, this typically takes anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how busy we are inside, but we set that expectation of between 2 to 4, and we always aim to deliver it in the shortest amount of time possible, all while making sure that everything is correct. We'd never want to rush it. The design itself takes a lot of work. It isn't just a slap a design together process. Like, this process is where a lot of the client's feedback is needed as well. We just need to make sure that we're meeting the brief and they are happy with the design. Once they're 100% happy, we then move on to the build stage, but we have to take care of this phase first. So how does it look? Well, first of all, we gather the requirements and the goals. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. We've had conversations with our customer and we've had them fill out an onboarding questionnaire where we've asked them to reiterate the goals of the project. So we have this in writing. So we review the requirements that they need from this website and the goals that they're trying to meet, and then we take that into consideration within the next steps. Next, we take care of keyword research and site mapping. Now, a lot of other businesses don't actually do this, but this is where we're a little bit different. Okay, we like to focus on SEO, and we actually offer this as part of the process when building a site. So we actually undergo keyword research within the early stages of the design, so we can really understand what keywords the client should be ranking for, and we can work this into the sitemap. So for example, if a customer wants to rank for decorating in London, we need to make sure that there's a page dedicated to decorating in London. Once we understand the service keywords and the location modifiers that our customer wants to rank for, we will then translate that into a working sitemap, so we can understand what pages are going to exist within the site so we can design them. Next, we're moving on to mood boarding, or what I like to call style guiding. Now, I think this is a really important step for any custom web design project because it allows us to freely put our ideas down on paper. It allows us to understand what type of typography and fonts we're going to be working with this site, regardless as to whether they have a brand guideline or not. It allows us to explore the style of imagery that we might want to use, what buttons and other components around the site might look like, how much spacing we're going to have around elements. And we'd even go as far to look at other websites for inspiration and bring that in too, just so we have it all down on our canvas before we move to the next step. Once we have that mood boarding and we have an idea of the direction that we want to go with this project, we then start designing the home page. Now, depending on the type of client and what their requirements are, we might decide to produce either 1 or 2 homepage styles. Now, primarily, we only aim to design 1 homepage. There are some circumstances where if we have another idea or potential direction, we will produce a second homepage design and allow the customer to see how they feel about each of them. But ultimately, as the professionals, we have a good idea of what goals the customer needs this website to fulfill, and we can do that within 1 single homepage design. We then send that homepage design to our client for feedback. Now, if you're wondering what on earth do you say in these emails to this customer, what do you write in the email when asking for feedback? I actually have a Notion board here full of email templates that we can just grab, copy and paste to our clients depending on what stage they're at in the project. So you'll see here that we actually have a dedicated template for asking for feedback on the homepage. And it's a really simple email. It doesn't need to be overthought. We're just saying hi. We're letting them know that there is a video loom that we filmed to give them an overview of the direction that we've taken and the reasons for it. It helps sell the design to the client. We then give them a link to our XD file and just open up the opportunity for any feedback, because we want to make sure that they are happy. Now, sometimes they might come back to us an email and just let us know what feedback they have, or they might want to jump on a call so they can screen share and talk through their thoughts. Either way is absolutely fine. Once we have feedback and we've implemented it and the client is happy with the homepage, we then move on to the internal sub pages. The reason why we do this is we don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole producing a design that the customer just thinks is way off the mark. So we make sure that we are on track and the customer is happy with the homepage design. And then we can take the look and feel of that and produce the rest of the pages, because we know that we're going in the right direction. You don't want to make the mistake of spending hours designing out an entire website only to find that you've wasted that time and you have to go right back to the beginning anyway because you got it wrong. So homepage first, then sub pages. The sub pages themselves are actually driven by the pages that have been defined in our sitemap. So this is commonly things like about. It could be a service listing page. It could be an individual service page. It could be a contact page. It could be a portfolio. It could be anything, but the sitemap is going to tell us what pages need to exist. And then we can go and we can design those pages within Adobe XD. So now, once we've done that, it's a very similar process to the homepage. We actually go back to our email templates and we find the one that we send when we need sign off for our sub pages. We send them over the Adobe XD link. We might record a Loom video that supports that just to talk them through the design, the flow, the decisions. We remind them that it's a static mockup and they can't interact with it. And we just want their general feedback on the look and feel of the website before we progress to the build phase. So we want to get that confirmation. We want to get that sign off from them. And once we've got that sign off, we can then take this project and we can move it over to the build phase. Now, the build process, in my opinion, this is one of the easiest because it's quite hands off. We don't need too much feedback from the client at this stage because a lot of the visuals and the structure and the hierarchy and the layout, everything's been taken care of in the design and the customer's already signed that off. So all of the uncertainties, they've already been ironed out, they've already been defined. Now, the build process I've put here can take anywhere between 2 to 8 weeks. And this is a very vague figure, but ultimately every project is different. Some has custom functionality where others don't. We might be pretty quiet at this time so we can fulfill it quicker. Yeah, there's loads of variables that take place. So we use 2 to 8 weeks as a guide to deliver this. Now, I'm not going to be going into too much detail into the build itself, all right? But we use WordPress and we use Elementor to build our sites. I'm not going to walk you through step by step how to actually build a website. There's tons of other videos that can show you how to do that. This is the process that we take to actually get a project fulfilled. So the build phase, okay, there are 4 main steps here. And step number 1 is creating a new environment. Now, we actually start off with creating a WordPress environment on our own subdomain. Okay, we don't build on the client server. We don't build in the client's existing domain or live website. We don't do any of that, all right? The reason why we build on our own subdomain is because we still have ownership of the site. Okay, remember, if you've watched the other videos around payment, we've only taken a 50% deposit so far, and we don't want to hand the project over until all of the final payment has been paid. So we build this on our own subdomain. So for example, it would be clientname.tristanparker.co.uk. Sometimes a client might ask to do it on their own environment. We just refuse, and I think that you should too, for that very reason. So we build on our own environment and then we migrate it later. So what we do is we actually go into SiteGround and we will create that environment on our own subdomain. And once WordPress is installed, we'll choose to install Elementor. We'll add the plugins and of course we will add the necessary theme. Typically this is Hello Elementor. Now if you want to know what plugins we're installing, it's Elementor, Crocodblocks, Yoast, and we make sure that there's a security plugin on there as well. Next, we actually build the site. Okay, we've got our environment in place. Now we actually refer back to the designs that have been created and have been signed off by the client, and we construct the pages that are needed. If there are any template pages that are needed as well, we will construct those. Now, for example, home and about would be pages within the site. But if you had a service, then a service page, if having multiple services with a similar look and feel, might be driven from a template because the layout is very similar throughout each. Now, by the end of this, the aim is to be left with a functional site that works. Now to do this, we build for desktop first. That's just how we work. We design for desktop first, we build for desktop first, and then we shrink everything down and just check that everything is working on responsive, ensuring that it works well on mobile. So everything works on desktop, then we test it on tablet and mobile and just make sure everything is flowing right. And I'll physically pick up my phone, load the web URL on that phone, and I'll scroll through and see what the experience is like, because sometimes doing it directly on the desktop just doesn't give you the right feel. You want to have that phone in your hand. You want to be able to scroll through it and just see how things are positioned and how things are flowing. And if you need to make changes on your development environment, you can do so and then see how that changes on your mobile device as well. Now the content, that's all provided by our client. Okay, we asked for that during the onboarding. We've given them templates that they can use in order to construct that content, and we can go over it and check it and sense check it and make sure that it's SEO optimized, which we do. But if we are writing a copy, which sometimes we do, we would have written that copy already by this point. By the time we reached this stage, we would have written the copy and we would have sent it to the customer for feedback, and we'd have that all nailed so we can start putting that content into the site. The content goes in at the build stage. Previously, I've sent the website over to the clients with lorem ipsum in it, and I've asked them to put the copy in themselves. This, in my opinion, has become quite a bit of a headache. There was a lot of teaching and training that needed to take place quite early on in the journey, and it was just quite jarring for us as a process. So we now just request the text back from them once they're happy with it in a Word document, and we put that into the website because it's a much smoother process. Now, as I've already said, we take care of the responsiveness. We design desktop first, and then we shrink things down to make sure that it works on mobile. This kind of takes place in the build phase throughout. If we're building a page on desktop, we'll test it on mobile at that stage rather than building the whole site and then going back through it all and testing on mobile. So I know I've got it in its own spot here, but it is a really important step these days. You need to make sure that it works on all devices. So you kind of at this stage just go back through and test and just make sure that if there's any refinements that needs to take place, that you can capture them at this point. And then finally, testing. You need to test that it works, okay? Making sure that it works on all devices, desktop, mobile, tablet, making sure that you've hit the brief. Is the website doing what it needs to do? Is it designed and functioning to hit the goals that your client needs to hit? Make sure that it loads fast. Make sure that you don't need to further optimize it for speed. Make sure that there's no broken links. Make sure that there's no broken images. All of those take place in the testing phase. Cool. All right. So that was build. That's build sorted. Finally, we then move on to launching it. Okay. We move to the launch phase. Once we've sent this live site over to our customer, if there's any feedback at this stage, which sometimes there can be a small amount, we will rectify anything. And then once the client is happy and they are ready to launch, we will launch the website for them. And this takes around 48 hours. This typically doesn't take that long, but we give ourselves a 48-hour window for the website to migrate, because we need to send all of the files over to their hosting environment if they are hosting it, or we need to migrate from a subdomain to the main domain on our own hosting. There could be some domain propagation that takes place. So 48 hours is a very good window to say that's how long it's going to take for their website to go live. And it's a super exciting stage for each customer because they've been waiting for this. They've gone through a process. It's been very collaborative. They've, been able to be involved with the design. They've been able to give, a little bit of feedback during the build, and they've played with their website. They can see it live, and now they want it live on their own domain so everybody else can see it too. So it's super exciting. So hopefully that gives you a really good idea of our end-to-end process within my solo agency. Okay, we undergo this process for every single custom web design client that works with us. And as I said, it's taken me a few years to really refine this, and I've worked with other agencies that have a very similar process. Okay, other large multi-million-pound agencies have a very similar process, albeit they just have multiple team members that are handling different stages of this. I'm a solo agency owner. I have a few contractors that help me with stages of this, but for the most part, it's me, managing the project end to end, and I'm sure you will be too. So hopefully you found that valuable. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, this is a series of 5. If this is the first one you're watching, go and watch the others because you'll find that valuable too. Okay, I've really tried to pull back the curtain here and give you all the information that you really need to have a successful agency. So Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment down below as well guys, to let me know how your agency is going, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.